what we are going to cover tonight, on a happy note, an exciting note, is we'll quickly go and do a review. We'll do a project review. That is, I've created Kahoot sessions on each of your group projects. And I've also created, what else have I done? Kahoot session on the review of the course. So we'll quickly go through that. I'm going to show you some video presentations made by students of Monash in another course, just to show you, oh, I like that part. This is a good thing that they did. Or maybe skip over this part. This is nice. This is good. But I will show you some of the winning presentations that were done in another unit that I was a judge on last semester. Okay. And these students were just like you. They went through the whole semester online. Okay. It's not like we did it in class and I could coach them and get them ready, blah, blah, blah. All right. So they had the same challenges, the same bandwidth challenges. They had to connect with other group members through Zoom and who live somewhere else. And then they created these videos. So we'll show you that tonight. Okay. So put your hand up if you think this is worthwhile staying for tonight. I love your response. That is exciting. And we've been really blessed, and just want to thank you again. I'm so appreciative. I feel it's an honor for me to teach this area. By the way, today I had lunch with a good friend. His name is Marcus Schultz. He used to be the CEO, operations manager of Volkswagen Shanghai, China. And he's actually in Hong Kong at the moment because he's teaching in the EMBA program for University of Hong Kong and HKUST. He is a master of operations management, supply chain, factory management, just like what David talked about last week. And I was hoping to get him into the session tonight, but he wasn't available. But we had a great discussion about what David talked about last week, and he was just concurring with the whole simplicity of understanding how to get systems in order, and how, because of COVID, because of the need to do things online, what organizations have realized around the world now is that, wow, we can actually do things more efficiently over the internet that we never thought we could do because we were never forced to do. And yeah, very interesting conversation. So hopefully maybe in the future we can connect. So that was a lunch I had with another network connector today. Okay, so any questions? All right. Do you want to start the Kahoot session? Okay. All right. Can I ask everyone, can you put your hands up, take a deep breath, or even stand up? You know, look, I'll show you. Look, I got my coat on, but I've got nothing on underneath. All right. Right. Stand up. Stretch. Take a deep breath. Ashley, please don't take a photo of me. It's okay. All right. So we can have fun tonight and keep the learning momentum. But as I said, you have to be impatient with what you want. Do not wait for doors to open. All of you have to start knocking on doors. Dan, you have to send that email tonight, okay? That's what I mean. You have to knock on doors. Do your projects. I know you're busy. I know you're up to here, but you've got to be knocking on doors. And that's going to create your future. All right, let's get this Kahoot session going. I'm so excited. Kahoot. Kahoot. Let's get this. I'm going to share the screen. Can you all, we have end of semester review, 12 questions. We go through this again because just want to remind you, when you go for job interviews, job opportunities, it's good to know some of these items. This will help you in the future. Are you ready to play, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I love that. Was that you, Jason? No, Nicole, you said that, did you?
Yes, sir.
I love that. I like that. Let's do this. Classic. Loading game pin. Can you all see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me turn the volume down. Okay, Dan's in, AB's in. Oh, that's good. Yes. Joanne, Emma, Han, Zoe, Athena, Joanne. We've got 20 in our Kahoot. Let's make this fun tonight. Let's move this forward. We'll spend a little bit more time on the individual projects. Friendly Chicken 84. I like that. That's called thinking outside of the box. Be careful when you put 84. Does that mean you're born in 84? Be careful when you put a number in a user name. 1984 was my second year of doing a graduate diploma in accounting because I dropped out of school when I was 15 and didn't do year 11 or year 12. And luckily I had some good business people in my network, friends with my parents, that talked me into going back to school when I had no confidence at all. Okay, let's play this. Are you ready? Jimbe Hala. Okay. First question, end of semester review. Only 12 questions. Let's hope. What was special about Royale Corp? Remember, Royale Corp it made a certain device. We looked at that in week 7 about protection of IP risk. Most important thing, owner mindset. Why? Yeah, remember the most important thing, Yes, it was a hardware startup. Owner mindset. Remember, I talked about that owner was so special that he was looking at creating thin film LCD screens that will go on your coffee cup. He saw that as the future in less than 5 years' time. And he invested billions of dollars in new machinery, new factory, which what most owners in emerging economy factories do not do. And I just wanted you to say, you know, when you're looking for the right supplier, owner mindset is critical. Okay, YX, next. Okay, let's go to the next one. What was the big idea in week one? Week one. Excellent. That was the big one. The big one was COVID impacts on the make or buy decision. Very general. I think the biggest idea was the macro factors impact on where and how to source. Okay, we really focus on the macro. Now, COVID and the trade war, you could say, oh, these were macro factors. Okay, so remember, that was the most critical, the biggest idea. Okay, let's go to the next one. What are the big ideas in week two? So the more than one answer, well, I think you have a single answer, but I think there's more than one correct answer here. Okay. Most of you got this right. Well, excellent. Well done. That's great. Okay. Remember, I put in two answers here. Robotics, you know, it's an idea, but not the biggest idea. Innovation. Okay. That was definitely wrong, that one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Remember, the blockchain revolutionize. Here's a question for you. Which group is studying blockchain as part of their major project? Quick, in the chat room, which group? 1 to 8. Everyone put in a number, 1 to 8. Have a guess. One group is studying blockchain. Which number? Okay, everyone's copying from everyone else. We got the idea. But will be questions on that later. Hey, keep that in mind. Let's keep going here. Okay, YX on top. Alethea, Edgar coming back. Finally. Good to see you on the leaderboard, Edgar. Yeah, thank you. Next one, 4 hour 12. What are the big ideas in week 3? Remember, week 3, we talked about the supplier competitive market model. Remember, week 3 was the, very good. Okay. Now, yes, we did look at understand suppliers by how they respond to challenges. Yes. And the supply competitive market model. So good. Well done on that. We've got just 2 buyers can easily squeeze their suppliers on cost for their benefit. Not really, because suppliers can copy. No, they can actually replace materials with cheaper ones. What else could they do? They could secretly source to a cheaper manufacturer. They could secretly outsource. They can do lots of things if you just put cost pressure on suppliers. And that's a big thing we learned in week 3. Why did we learn that in week 3? Because in week 4, we started to get you to understand about when you go into negotiations, please do not talk about costs. Please don't focus on costs in your negotiations. Okay. So Hans made a good move on that one. Well done. Great X. YX is on top. Let's go. Next one. What is the big idea in week 4? I just give you a hint on that. You did very, very well. Because remember, around week 4, what was that big project you had to do? What was that product?
PPE.
PPE, exactly, Elaine, thank you. Face masks, PPE, excellent. And again, I wanted you to find out for yourself that, yes, you can research several supplier alternatives, but be careful. What's important, you do a apple to what comparison? Apple to?
Apple.
Apple to, exactly, all right? And it's so much easier to compare supplier A or supplier B if you ask the same questions, have the same questions and factors to compare on. So well done on that. Big idea. Let's keep moving here. Alethea is coming up. Well done. Adgar, you're coming up too. You're doing well. I was waiting for you to come back big by week 12. And here we go. What is the big idea in week 5? Remember, we have already negotiated with suppliers. Now we want to, what are we going to do? Now we select suppliers, then we need to audit the suppliers. Am I right? Yes. Okay, a buyer should set up a contract, the idea of things that can go wrong. So that's on the contracting side, documenting side. And then buyers should work closely with third-party inspectors. And we taught you all about AQL levels. Am I right? AQL. So now you know what AQL is. This all helps you if you're looking for jobs in this area, when they ask you about AQL. I know what that means. Okay, you got that terminology. Okay, let's keep moving here. Alethea is keeping your lead. Han made a big move on that one. What are the big ideas in week 6? And we did get to AQL levels, didn't we? Yes, you did an AQL exercise. And you actually got to see real audit reports, factory audits and a product quality audit, 2 different things. And the AQLs were to do with product quality audits, not a factory audit. Okay. Number 1, owner mindset is critical in judging a supplier. Yes, that's always correct. Number 2, AQL limit for a major defect, anything greater than 2.5%. A minor defect, what was that percentage level for a minor defect? Type it in.
4%.
Pardon?
4?
4%, exactly. I love it. Yell it out. This is great. Remember, major defect 2.5, minor defect 4%. By the way, what was the normal inspection level used? 2, exactly. 2, exactly.
Level 2, yeah.
Correct. Well done. Love it. Great. Okay, right. What's happened, Agia? You've dropped out there. What's going on? What to do to make sure your supplier is capable? Remember, this is a factory audit, isn't it? Remember, two types of audits: factory audit, product audit. And with a factory audit, you should visit the factory. You should be clear on technical specifications. Why? Because if you are hiring a third-party inspector, are you going to assume the inspector knows everything about your product? Sometimes, maybe not. Okay. What about the inspectors that inspected the figurines that were used for Halloween? And when you turned it on, the figurine started singing, "Are you ready for Christmas?" All right. Because no one told the inspector to listen to the sound of the figurine to make sure that that sound, the music being played, is Halloween. Ooh. All right. No one told the inspector. 300,000 of these units were delivered to a US retail chain a couple of years ago. All of them had to be scrapped because the buyer failed to tell the inspector, please check the exact soundtrack that is being played by the figurine. All right. So that's why be clear on technical specifications is critical. Don't assume the third-party inspector knows everything. And you know the owner's intention is always critical, 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 critical. Okay, so Edgar, you're quietly hanging around the leaderboard there. That's great. Dan, where are you? What's happening over there? Dan.
I'm in the 9th place.
Hey, all right. Come on, we gotta get your tire company moving here. All right, what are the 3 circles of management in the multi-supplier management model? Remember the 3 circles. We're not talking about the first 3 circles. This is when we get to the big buyer, remember? Yes, sorry, that was a hard one. Okay. All right. So remember, if you're multi-source, then you're going to have contracts, but inevitably all contracts are never perfect, especially when you're working with developing economies, because institutions are never perfect. So you need to spend time on supplier development. And David talked about this last week. Toyota does that all the time. IKEA does that. Giorgio Armani does that. S. Oliver does that. I talked about that in week 8, week 9, about the multinationals spend a lot on supplier development in order to have long-term relationships, in order to have control over the quality. Why? Because their reputation is at stake, and contracts alone are never sufficient. Okay, one person got that right. Okay, so let's what's happening with our leaderboard here? Sorry, that was a tough round. Sorry about that. Okay, they're not all tough, all right? Okay, let's go to 10 out of 12. Remember, 3 left. 3 left. What is the main supply attribute required by purchasing? Remember, this is performance measurement. The attributes could be about capability, cooperation. It could be documentation. But remember, what does purchasing care about? What does purchasing care about? Not manufacturing, not R&D. What does purchasing care about? Okay, willingness to cooperate. Quality documentation is much more with, it's not that's more for the TQC team or the production team that works with the procurement team, okay? Generally, purchasing is the front and center of negotiations with suppliers. They always prefer that suppliers will cooperate with them because they're the ones that are communicating with the suppliers all the time. And if you look at in week 10, when we showed you PQI, by the way, which group presented on PQI? Can you put in the chat room now? Which group presented on PQI in week 10? Remember, PQI and HTC were the two big case studies on big suppliers. Group 8, yes. And PQI had 3 different sets of performance measurement lists, depending on whether it's a TQC team, the R&D team, or the purchasing team. The TQC team cared about documentation. The R&D team cared about R&D, research and development, all right? The purchasing cared about cooperation. Okay, great, great, great. Very interesting there. That's the scoreboard. Adgar, wow. First time we've seen Adgar on top. Where are you, Adgar? Can you say hello? Hello, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now he shows up. Got you. Good. The video's showing now. Great. All right. Well, you better take a screenshot of this because it may not last long. Hang in there anyway. Okay, let's go to the next one. We've got 2 left. Okay, 11 of 12. In one word, what differentiates the supply chain concerns of large from small buyers? The one word. Remember, the one word. Remember, I want everyone to get this correct. Please. I have failed you if someone gets this wrong. Oh, no, no. What happened? My teaching has failed. Please, please, please don't give me a 1 for Setu, please. Oh. Large, small, reputation risk. Reputation is the big thing. Oh, please don't tell Ravi, Dr. Ravi, okay? All right. Okay, tried my best. I did try my best to get reputation is the big thing for the large multinationals. YX, you didn't get that right. I'm sorry, you dropped out of the leaderboard. Hansel, Nicole, thank you. You're coming up in the rear here. Okay, last one. Please, let's get this one right. What happens when demand exceeds supply in PPE? Okay, all of the above. Okay, supplies were sold on a first come, first served basis, cash up front. Factories were not taking orders unless you actually deposited US dollars into their account. 100% of the order. Oh, give us the money. Sorry, not interested if you don't send the money. Number 2, prices of raw materials and end products increased. Okay, bloat mold, a key raw material that went into face masks. The prices of bloat mold just went up ginormously. Remember the big roll of bloat mold, which was 1 ton in weight, could make 700 I think it was 700,000 masks, the big roll of bloat mold, which is basically the middle layer of the 3-layer mask. Number 3, increase in the number of intermediaries in the supply chain. A lot of middlemen came in, middlemen, they came in, and they put down millions of dollars at factories to buy up their capacity for the next 3 months, 4 months. And then they went and sold that capacity that factories have promised to the middle people. They went overseas and then sold those masks to overseas countries for 2 times, 3 times, 4 times the price, 5 times, 6 times. Wow. So all of the above. And these things were never ever witnessed before in the last 3 decades in supply chain management. Like the whole idea that you would actually put 100% cash up front to a factory in order to get them to commit to make something for you. Wow. Dan, would you do that with your suppliers in Continental?
Sorry, could you repeat that? My bad.
Do you put 100% money down with your raw material suppliers before they send you anything?
I don't work on that side of this thing, so.
All right, you better check. You better check with your team. All right. Okay, so let's see who's on top. Let's see the podium. Okay, number 3, Sal. Where's Sal? Say hello, please, Sal. Quick. Say hello. Sal, where are you? Edgar is on top. Yes, finally.
Like it lasted.
Finally. Alethea, where are you? Alethea, can you say hello?
Hi, sir.
Alethea, well done. And Sol, can you speak up, please? Hello.
Guys, me.
So, Idris,
Yeah.
congratulations. Well done. Great. Edgar, you got 11 out of 12. And Alethea and Sol, 10 out of 12. Excellent. Well done. Well done. Okay, as you can see, you know, there's 1 or 2 trick questions there. Well done. Great effort. And just keep that. There's the podium. Take a screenshot. Take a screenshot, Edgar. There's Sol and Alethea. And Edgar, you're on top. Finally. Okay, great.
All right, got it.
Okay, and the runners up, Han and Nicole. Where are you? Where's Nicole? Where's Han?
I'm here, sir.
Okay. Okay, well done. Great effort. Fantastic. Okay, let's go. All right, what are 2 more things tonight? Let's just have a break for 5 minutes. When we come back, we will, and look, all of you did very, very well. 63% of you got things correct. And remember, it's good to go over some of these things again, just to help spur your memory, because sometimes when you go into a job interview, sometimes knowing the detail does help give you more confidence when you're going into a new area, especially. Okay, so let's have a 5-minute break. When we come back, we will do a project review. What do we mean by project review? There are 16 questions. There are 2 questions on every group project based on your presentations you did last week. Okay, they're not too tricky, but I just want you to be aware of what other groups are doing. And also, I just want to acknowledge all of you that I think, and I've had, you know, I had a meeting with a group today, and, you know, if you want to meet with me later this week, no problem, available. But just want to say, acknowledge all of the groups, all of the topics that you have chosen, I think are very, very interesting. And I can see by the multiple times I'm meeting with you that you're actually learning through the process. I'm pushing you to focus on the tables. And one of the reasons is that one of the things I think I want you to take away is, well, whether it's supply chain management, whether it's international business, whether it's marketing, whatever unit you're studying, you need to organize information that you collect. And there's, in the early stages when you're collecting information, it's everywhere and it's very difficult to make sense of. And maybe a professor says you write 2,000 words and then you submit your project. Oh, I've done with that. I don't want to do any more. Enough. Just can't wait to get my degree. But what I want you to take away is thinking that, okay, one day, maybe I'm working for an analyst. Maybe I'm working for a investment banker. Maybe I have to write a report on a particular industry. Then maybe I'm teaching you that first you need to collect data. Number two, you need to put the data in a form that allows you to, number one, kind of simplify the comparisons you want to make between maybe two industries, maybe two countries, maybe two foods, maybe two companies, whatever. And hopefully this project, I'm teaching you how to put data into a table form before you start to think about, oh, what do I write? I want to, that's the thing I want you to take away. And I think that is transferable to anywhere, not just supply chain management. I think that's a big thing I want you to take away in this report. And because of that, I've always emphasized, get the table ready, get the table. I spent an hour with a group today, not scolding, but saying, oh, I don't like this table. Not clear, not clear. You got one words here. What does this mean? What does this mean? It's not clear. And when I said it's not clear, I wasn't talking to that group in terms of, look, I'm the professor, I know everything, and you've got to do it my way. No. I approached this by saying it's not clear to the ordinary businessman who sees this table. Can an ordinary business person in that industry or whatever, can they make sense of that table? Okay, and that's hard for you because then you need to make clear what you mean by each row in that table, each column, maybe a footnote, and that practice of you going through and making clear what you mean makes you a better communicator. And that's half the battle of what this degree, this MIB degree is all about. Okay, so let's have a break. Let's come back in 5 minutes and we'll get into your group projects. What do you think? Is that a good idea? 5 minutes. Okay, see you soon. Bye. Okay, let's go to the next one. Can I have the next group, please? Group 5, Joyce, Jessica, Muchin, Nicole, Sanzana. Hands up, please. Muchin's there. Yes, who else? Where's Joyce? Jessica? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, anyone else? Nicole? Sanzana? Nicole's, no? Okay, let's have a look at group 5, what they're doing. I think it's similar to group 4, Edgar. But let's find out. What is the focus of group 5 project? We've already given you a hint on group 5. Okay, all the answers are in. And okay, factory incentives to relocate out of China. Joyce, 30 seconds to explain what your team is doing.
First of all, we will be discussing on the motivation of why MNCs relocate and also the economic reason behind it. And then we will only then focus on the different MNCs that will relocate outside from China, such as Hasbro Inc., GoPro, Sharp, Nintendo, and Samsung, because like from your previous feedback where you prefer us to compare from the similar type of company or industry. And then, yeah, that is our
I think my main feedback last week was I was a bit confused by you had Microsoft and Google, but once you explained to me that you were focusing on Microsoft's hardware and Google's hardware manufacturing, then I thought, oh, okay, maybe that's okay. Joyce.
Because after that, our team member who did that section decided to change to what you suggested, which was GoPro. So we ended up changing it. But maybe we could go back to the Microsoft.
Well, okay, work and you know, which way do you go? I would go with the, you know, you include the cases that are interesting. And what makes an interesting case? Number one, it recently happened. So for example, if Microsoft and Google move their operations out in 2019, whereas GoPro did it in 2017, then definitely the Microsoft and Google is more interesting. You with me here? All right. So just, you know, there's different ways or decisions that you can make. In the end, ultimately, you choose the ones that have a more impact for the reader. Okay. So, you know, recency is always more impactful than old things that have been happening, but more specific information is better, more impactful than having less specific information. So, okay, let's go for the second question for the Group 5 project. And Nicole's made a good run here. So let's go into it. All right, it's the quiz, 10 hours 16, we're nearly done. Remember break, we'll finish up tonight. What is the sorry about that. The main table categories used to differentiate between countries behind relocation. So what were the categories that Group 5 were using to compare these different brands who are relocating out of China? I suggested that you have 3 different groups. Just a suggestion, you know, you can make it more detailed than that. Okay, regulations, economics, trade policy. Of course, then that can be broken down into other parts inside. Of course, economics has a lot of subcomponents. Trade policy, it depends on, you know, where your markets are. Regulations, that also is depending on the country that you're moving to. So these are things, most of you got that right, so well done. Okay, so let's go to our next group, our group number 6, is that right? Can I have Jason, Sharon, Samir, Niam? Saffron, are you with us? Yes or no? Hello? Can you put your hands up, please? This is group 6, quickly. Hello? Zalkifi,
Yes,
you're with us. Excellent,
yeah.
Lovely. And who else? Who else is in that group? Anyone else? Just one person. Hello? Okay, and Jason, where are you? You were with us earlier. Where are you now? Hello? Wow. Jason?
Yeah.
Jason? Oh yeah, Jason's here. Okay. All right, so let's go. Let's move. Samir, where are you? Are you with us? Okay, let's move in. What's the focus of Group 6 project? No finish on this, then we move on. Okay, some of you thought factory audits. Okay, Jason, can you explain the difference, please?
Product audit will be from when you purchase the materials or use the materials. You can track your product from there, whereas factory is more of like what the HTC resource team did. That's what they do. They tested the factory equipment and stuff to see if they're able to
make
create
what
the product.
you wanted to make. Correct. So factory audit is all about making sure that the supplier has the capability to make the project that you want. Whereas product audit is, okay, you've already done the order, but now you want a third-party auditor to go in and check at different quality gates that the audit has been, that the product has been made with respect to minor defects and major defects tolerance under level 2 surveillance, right? Okay, remember the week 6 where we talked about AQL levels? The AQL levels pertain to product audits, not factory audits. Okay. And so what group 6 is doing is talking to someone outside of that group. What is the name of the company they interviewed? Do you remember? Put it in the chat room.
Pivot 88.
Pivot 88. Yeah. So what Pivot 88 does is, okay, we cannot send the third party in to check the product. So let's put tablets in with the factory management team to actually enter in details of the various stages that your product order is going through, including passing different quality gates. And so the whole idea is that Pivot 88 is selling the idea that, well, now you can watch the factory from a distance. You don't need to send people in, third parties in to audit the factory. Okay, you ready for the next question? Oh, by the way, Jason, is Pivot 88 successful or not successful?
Yeah, they're the leading player in their industry.
I don't know if they have any competitors, actually.
Yeah, they're the first movers.
Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, it's 12 hours. How many countries has Pivot 88 reached? 10, 20, 40, over 50. Okay, over 50, actually 51 countries, Jason, correct?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that.
You checked the website.
I actually kept recalling the number that she stated, that they have already been into more than, I think, at least 113 countries.
Well,
but not so
I know,
sure.
but I checked on the internet. It says 51, but maybe it needs to be updated. But remember, whatever you say, just make sure you have the reference for that in your project. Okay, so let's go to our next group, and group 7.
Yep.
Let's have a look. Dan, where are you?
I am here.
Okay, so are you ready for yours? Let's have a look at what you've done. Let's see how much the class knows about you. What is the focus of Group 7 project?
I'm more worried about getting my answer wrong.
There's two answers here, so you won't get it wrong, Dan.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So actually, Dan, would you like to explain in specifically what you're doing, your team's doing?
So I mean, as I mentioned, we're talking about the tire entry, particularly Continental Group. We'll be focusing on their sourcing strategy, COVID-19 impact, and as well as their supply selection model.
Wonderful. Excellent. Okay. So, and I like that comparison. You're comparing India and Malaysia, correct?
Not exactly, because I mean, it's more of a world over system, because what Malaysia sources is from India. So
Oh, okay. Well, I must have got it wrong from last week. Okay. All right. Okay. And anyway, your group is all right where you're at?
currently, yes.
Okay, good. All right, let's go to our next one. Group 8, our lucky last. Can we have Vanessa Menglu, Joanne, Mira, and Nafis? Where are you? Hands up, please. Joanne, I see you. Yes. Myra, Nafis, are you with us? Okay, excellent. So this is yours. So let's go group 8, lucky last. Okay, how has COVID-19 impacted? Oh, this is Continental Tires before we're doing that, all right? This is Dan. Sorry, this is the second question for your group. Sorry, Dan.
No worries. Oh no, I got the answer wrong. I read all of it now. Damn it.
I hope I'm right from what I learned from you.
You're right from what I can see. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
All of the above. Production of masks, container shortage, temporary cease factory production. Excellent. Okay, so let's thank you for your contribution, Dan. And HY, you come to the top. Dan, you're up near the top. Well done. Let's have a look at group 8. Where's our group 8? Vanessa, Joanne, Mira, Nafis, you with us? Got you? Hands up. Right. Okay, let's go. Lucky last. What is the focus of group 8 project? Remember the best answer here. E-waste management in Malaysia. Okay. And who would like to? Siwei, would you like to explain? Vanessa, are you with us? Would you like to?
Yes.
30
yes.
seconds, what you're doing.
So our project will look into the e-waste problem. And since the e-waste issue vary from country to country, so we focus on Malaysia only. And to do so, we interview 2 private Malaysian companies to get more information from them. So, and what we know is that Malaysia has a regulation regarding e-waste, but it's not enforcement. And then, and those 2 companies have been trying to get some financial support from the government.
Right.
And one reason is that the e-waste management involves equipment and some other factors. And the other reason is that the company wants to invest in AI or other digital technology. And
Wow.
finally, we summarize our project with 3 sections, which are positive, negative, and surprise.
Wow, amazing. Love it. Well done. So let's have another question about your project. What are the challenges of e-waste management in Malaysia? All of the above. 18 got it, just 2 didn't. Chiwei, I think part of your table was actually, this is coming out in part of the summary of your table, isn't it? What we did today. Joanne?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's from the table we did today, mostly
Yeah.
from our table today.
Yeah.
Lovely. Look, the whole class. It's wonderful. Excellent. So that finishes the Kahoot. I just want to show you that every one of you, like sometimes you hand in a project and you never really get to know what others are doing. And this time, because no one's presenting their projects, their final projects to the class, where you can sit back and go to sleep and then waste everyone else's time, you know, you're all doing videos. And so none of you are going to see what others have done. But in the last 2 weeks, last week, you do a proposal, I'll give you some feedback. Today, just another quick summary of what everyone's doing. Just want to show you that all of these issues in some ways are really pressing on how do we manage going forward. If we're in any area of international management, the 8 issues that have been covered by these 8 groups are all relevant. They're all so amazing. So just want to say congratulations to all of you for your efforts to find something interesting to study in this unit. So AI person, who came second? YX, and who's on top? HY, where's HY? Show your face, please. Where's HY? Is that Elaine?
Yes.
You put Elaine there. All right. So you obviously are an active listener. So congratulations. Well done. Okay. So next. All right. Well done, everyone. And the most difficult ones that people had was with group 1, with group 6 and group 5. So maybe because I made the question difficult, or maybe the group didn't make their case as clear. That's very perceptual. So I'm not meaning anything with that, but they were the difficult questions. There we go. We finished our Kahoot. Well done. I just hope this last Kahoot session was to get you more appreciative of what other groups are doing. And you never know that what someone else is doing may help you in the future prepare for a job interview, prepare for a project, whatever. So continue networking and make sure that you're going to do the best for yourself and your group, but just be aware of the other issues that have been studied by other groups in this unit. Let's just have a break for 5 minutes. When we come back, I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap this up with a bang. I'm going to show you some presentations just to help you to think about how you can make your video presentation better, because the best way is to actually show you, what do you mean by a good presentation, Neil? I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So back in 5 minutes. I promise not to go to the end of 10 o'clock tonight. We'll try and finish early and give you time to go back to your project work. I know you've got a lot of work to do. See you in 5 minutes, everyone. Bye-bye. you would actually, this is what you need to bring into a job interview. I don't mean literally you bring a mask in, but each one of you, don't ever stop asking yourself, you know, what is special about me? Ask yourself that every day, because that is what differentiates you from everyone else in whatever job interview you do. Okay, your CV, your degree will not differentiate you, but your awareness of who you are and what you want, that is what differentiates you in job interviews. And I remember when, I think I told you, did I tell you, when I interviewed for head of department here at Monash in 2017, the interview was over something like Skype, just like this. So no different from we do an interview today over Skype, Zoom. And they said, one person said, Neil, you've taught in Hong Kong, right? Okay, Chinese. You taught in Singapore. Okay, fine. You haven't taught in Malaysia. So technically I did a 20 program 25 years ago. And they said, how do you know that you will succeed in teaching our students at Monash? You know, we've got multicultural, we've got Indian, Sri Lankan, Indonesian, Chinese, Malay. How do you know that you're going to be effective? And my response was, I don't know, I might fail. And I remember the head of school, we reflected on that interview a couple of months later after I joined. And he told me that, Neil, the one thing we liked about you was that you were aware of yourself and you were honest about, you just didn't make things up. You just said it what it was. And that's what we liked about you. So focus on becoming aware of who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and just be yourself. And that's really, really important in job interviews. Okay, so let's trying to make tonight takeaway valuable for you. So let's keep moving. What I want to show you now is presentations, because some of you so far I haven't showed you how to present. Well, these are I'm going to show you two videos. Now let me stop sharing for a moment. And I'm going to the first video, 1.4. These are two groups that got, the grades were, I think, 13.5 out of 15 marks. Okay, the highest mark out of 90 students. The groups of 5, they had 15 minutes. They weren't allowed to submit a video that was 1 second longer. And they had 15 marks. These are third-year undergraduate in our FinTech unit. It was a startup pitch competition, but remember, it was still a video. And another thing that's common about what you have to do, it is still a group. So let's have a look at the first video, shall we? Are you ready? By the way, do you think this is useful if I show you some videos?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. I want to make sure that I'm just giving you something useful here tonight. All right. So the first one is 1.4. Okay. Let me.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our presentation, we'd like to introduce ourselves. I'm Chong.
I'm Galvi.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Debbie.
And today, we'd like to present our startup idea for the e-wallet company, Opulence. So when we began developing our e-wallet idea, we had to first analyze the current market. And upon analysis, we can see that the payments and e-wallets market comprises nearly 40% of the fintech industry with billions of users. This means that the market is extremely crowded and competitive, and many of them are offering very similar services. However, despite the rapid growth in this sector, consumers here still prefer to use their bank cards, especially for larger transactions. Like, how often do you see luxury products like LV being bought with touch and go or grab? And so we had to think, why do consumers feel that way? Well, it's because people generally have more trust in banks with money. Consumers trust banks enough to hold their extremely large funds and perform the large transactions. On the other hand, e-wallets generally thought as a secondary method to hold small funds and to conveniently perform.
Okay, let's just stop there. Ask you a few questions. Number one, have they spent $1 million to have a perfect studio for their video recording?
No.
No. Okay. They've just, looks like he's in his bedroom doing the recording, right?
Mm-hmm.
So nothing special. Okay. So you can do that. What else do you notice about what he's doing?
And gesture, and I think
And
his
gestures, yeah.
Is he using their hands and trying to be animated, trying to really be three-dimensional, not just the PowerPoint slide? That, you know, obviously they've set up the PowerPoint slide. Obviously they've rehearsed. Let's just move along. All right, let's just do a transition. Let's see what happens here.
Gelby, who will explain about the channels and relationships with customers.
So moving on to channels. Our company has 5.
Did you
This
hear
means
that?
consumers
You
can
listen
perform both
carefully.
online and offline transactions with our payment card, locally and internationally with our multi-currency wallet, in a manner that's even more secure than banks with our virtual card feature. Now I'd like to pass it to Gelby, who will explain about the channels and relationships with customers.
So moving on to channels. Our company has 5 main channel phases that we go through in order to reach our target customers and deliver value. As a fully digital company, we would utilize our social media accounts and make regular through these first touch points we use for customers have a.
I'll be talking about the partnership of.
That's all for me, and now I'll be passing my time to Jonathan, who will be discussing our company's key activities, partnerships, and resources. Thank you.
First, I'll be talking about the partnership Opulence has. Opulence have partnerships with companies from different fields. As you can see, Opulence partners with companies that can help them in terms of improving. Next, for our company resources, are made specifically to secure large transactions compared to the markup, which means it prevents
As a digital wallet application, obtain
customer information. And now, I will be passing the time to Debbie, who will explain about the revenue and the cost.
Subsequently, I'm going to explain on how our company, Opulence, generate revenue to retain business. Opulence as a digital wallet application, obtain revenue through 1% of exchange rate fees and transaction fees, with an average revenue per transaction. In conclusion, customer relationship via source payment. And this is the end of our presentation on business idea pitch. Thank you.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, that's one of the good ones. Let's have a look at another one, 4.1. So what did you notice about that one? Any comment?
Whenever they transition, they are actually briefly mentioning what the next presenter will actually present about.
Correct. That's good. What I like at start is that everyone showed up in the video at the start. Did you notice that? Everyone's there together just to welcome. Here are bang, 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 bang. All right. All right, let's have a look at 4.1.
Good morning, Mr. Mirzet, Professor Neil, and fellow friends. Today, my group and I are going to introduce to you our InsurTech startup called Damai. Now, our tagline is watching your smart home every day keeps the fire, leakages, and robbers away. Now, my group and I have done extensive research to see what problems do Malaysians face. And we're going to start with leakages. For over a decade, Selangor has faced one of the worst water problems because of broken pipelines. And this has caused water shortages, overflow, backwards discharge, and the constant changes in pressure often destroy our housing pipelines. Now, looking at the crime index on the other hand, although it's declining, it's still a substantial amount at 77,802 property crimes in 2017. This number is more than...
It's okay. I like, probably not as animated as the first speaker or the last one, but very, very clear. The face is very large. Try and make the top of your head near the top of the video. Like See where the top of my head is, near the top? Rather than, the last thing you want to do is be sinking down at the bottom like this. Okay, Edgar, your video is perfect there. All right, so then you've got the shoulders, head near the top. Okay, very, very important. All right, now what he's showing you in the PowerPoint side are 3 pictures, and it doesn't look like he's reading from the PowerPoint because he's showing the 3 pictures. So that's, you know, that's a nice little innovation that he's done there. Let's just move on, see how the transition works.
They get a home which is safer, and because we partner with insurance companies, they get to have cheaper insurance premiums. Thank you. I now pass my time on to Natasha.
Hi, I'm Natasha. Now, our company, Damai, strives to maintain strong relationships with our customers. We can do so through various phases of our sales process. Starting at the beginning, we will offer dedicated personal assistance to our customers in negotiations and purchase. Following that, the installation team will provide personal assistance in implementation of the system, as well as teach our customers how to use our system effectively. We will also maintain the app to avoid any technical glitches. Each of the 4 cost-effective methods to reach them. Damai will require 3 key resources. Firstly, financial. Each of the 4 founders will contribute 100,000 ringgit in capital. Damai will also obtain an SME bank loan and raise equity fundings to expand the operations. Secondly is intellectual resources, such as patents and copyrights, to safeguard the proprietorship of our mobile apps and statistical algorithms. Thirdly is the human resources, especially in the area of professional skills. Okay, so here we have Elizabeth presenting. She got first, second, third. And the PowerPoint is 1, 2, 3. There are 3 groups here, and financial, intellectual, and human. And it's not like that she reads everything. Of course, you know, she's reading some, but she has rehearsed enough that there's a bit more flow in her presentation. Because when you present by reading the PowerPoint for the first time, you automatically come across very, very simply as, oh, you're just reading the PowerPoint. You need to do it 2, 3, 4 times before you can start to disconnect from that PowerPoint and become more animated. Okay, so that's something that, you know, takes time to rehearse once you know what you want to talk about. Let's just have a look at a few more. Event of burglary, customers can press a button to directly be connected. Types of devices in these packages takes up 20% of our company Damai. Customers can press a button to directly be connected to the police as well. Other partners that we'll engage in are blockchain companies, as we require their services to integrate our servers with blockchain technology. My name is Yashwini, and I will be talking about the financial structure for our company, Damai. Firstly, I'll be talking about revenue streams in the following slide. So total revenues, there are more than 2. Next, I will be keys and quality engineers in our company, somewhere around the middle of the 2nd year. Up to see if we can have any improvements and conduct R&D measures. When all of that is completed, somewhere around the middle of the 2nd year, upwards then. That is all from me. I'll be passing it off to Natasha next. So Natasha presented before, right? The company will use so now rotating around again, presenting a second time. App development and start implementation of our cybersecurity. January 20, which handles all financial aspects of the firm. There's also our sales lead, Brian Arnold Jeremiah, vital to delivering our value proposition. Elizabeth, in charge of R&D. If interested. Okay. So looking back, I think those 2 groups got the highest marks of the presentations. So let me just see if there's another one that you can compare, because comparisons helps you to see why they did very well. Let's just have
Dr. New, you don't mind me asking, what unit is this for?
What did I what?
What unit is this for? Like the presentations.
What?
Were you teaching a unit?
This is the fintech unit. They're doing a startup pitch.
Oh, is it it's a fintech unit?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this wasn't not, I only teach supply chain. I'm just showing you some of the online videos. Jason?
Yep.
Just, I don't know. Does it matter what they're doing it for? They're just doing a startup pitch. So it's not different from the project that you have to present.
Understand.
If I look at 2.1, let's have a look at, I'll just show you 1 or 2 more and then we can move on. Just wanted to give you some feedback on, what
Good morning. My name is Nur Amira Ahmad Qazi, and I'll be presenting the first part of the business idea pitch, which is on Race for Use mission is to if the
held events and conference frequently to educate customer and our potential investors.
SMEs financing in 2018,
marketing, and other areas. We decide to help our
cost 7,000 ringgit, 1,400 ringgit, while printing.
Okay, all right, let's just summarize a few things. Number one, the hardest part is getting your report together and getting the table set and being comfortable with what the positives are, what the negatives are, and what the surprises are in your project. Okay, so being comfortable. And when you're presenting, it's important that you have the theme, what's the big question? What is the big thing that is driving your whole project? And that's something that it doesn't hurt that each member of the team repeats what the whole presentation is about. Okay, I don't mean repeat in terms of a 30-second introduction and then you do it 4 times. No, just maybe it's a simple question. You get to the second part. Remember, we're comparing 2 companies in e-waste, or we're comparing several companies in how they have moved out of supply China differently. Let's have a look at this section where we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. You with me here, right? So it's important that you try and keep a reminder to the audience very briefly of, what the whole presentation, what the whole takeaway is about, even though there's 4 of you presenting or 5 of you presenting or 3 of you presenting and you're doing different parts. Okay, so number 1. Number 2, when you get the tables again, by the time you get to the report, your report's done, the material you need for your presentation is basically going to be the tables in your report. Am I right? I want you to think, is it easier to present text in your PowerPoint slide or a table in your PowerPoint slide?
Table.
Which is easier?
To explain, I think the table.
Exactly, yeah, table much easier. And what have I been emphasizing for the last 3, 4, 5 weeks? I always say table, table, table. Am I right? Okay, yeah. So you get that table right. You spend a lot of time on the table. So for your presentation, it's not like you have to create a new PowerPoint slide. You can, of course, you're going to make the PowerPoint. You've got to make the table fit properly and presentable in the PowerPoint slide, but you don't need to necessarily change the information. By then you've done the report, you should have a clear understanding of what you want to present, because as a group, in some ways, you want to be able to step back from what you want to present formally and think, what's the biggest thing that I want the audience to take away from this presentation? The group that's doing blockchain, what do I want them to realize? Maybe the big thing I want the audience to take away is that, okay, blockchain is real. It is being used in the food supply chain, but it's being used differently depending on the food and depending on the source where the food is coming from. That's the big idea. And the whole idea of the presentation is to show how it's used differently and speculate or explain why. That's it, you know. And so you've got to find, every one of you, you've got to find that special message, that special thing that the audience needs to take away. Just like I explained then for the blockchain group. Okay. The other group that's looking at the people moving, the factories moving out of China. You know, there's so much media speculation about factories moving out of China into different countries. Everyone's blaming the trade war, but, you know, not all factories are the same. And what we want to show you is that there are many factors that explain why factories will relocate. And we just want to show you that even factories in the same industry may relocate for different reasons. And here are the reasons why. Wow. So in other words, the whole idea of the presentation is to provide a little bit more nuanced explanation that we are not getting in the popular media about trade war and China's no good and factories got to move out. You know, where you're given a little bit more understanding of this phenomenon that's going on. Are you with me here? And every one of you, you know, if I just asked you, give me 30 seconds, Zulkifli, give me 30 seconds to be, in your own words, I'm a layman, what is your group doing? Haley, in 30 seconds, what's the big idea from what your group is doing? Dan, 30 seconds. What's the big idea? Why should I listen to your video? Elaine, why should I watch your video? 30 seconds, why? Sarah, why should I watch your video? Okay, that you should be able to say that within 20 seconds less, you know, 30 seconds less. Okay. And having that in your back of your mind, that's what makes you more animated. Okay. You watched the first 15 minutes where I talked to you about my whole passion for me teaching this unit and what I really care about, right? Yes or no?
Yep.
Did you watch me? Yeah. Okay. Was I animated?
Yes, sir.
Did it look like that I was reading a script on a PowerPoint slide?
No.
You know, I was speaking from the heart, you know, and that's actually, that's the holy grail of presenting, where you can speak from the heart on that topic. And that you can feel it. You can feel that topic. That the group that's doing e-waste. Wow, 50 million tons of e-waste created every year. That's next to impossible to dispose of safely. Wow. Like, how would you feel if that's your backyard? Like, you know, you embrace it, that, wow, this is crazy. You with me? You get to that state, and then you get in front of that video and you push the record button, you're naturally going to be animated. You are naturally going to be three-dimensional, you know? You don't have to make it up. Okay, so that's how you do it. Joanne, that's how you do it. Sorry, Joanne, you're speaking?
No, okay, we will try to be animated.
Look, all of you have won. All of you are, what do you call it? Champions. Okay. and I hope to give you as higher marks as possible, okay, within the, you know, the distribution that Monash allows me to do, okay? So let me reassure you, okay? But I'm just, when I get on the stage and talk to industry, it's the same thing. I'm already know what I want to talk about, you know, line by line by line, because I've rehearsed so much. But what I take onto stage and what you need to take onto a video camera is your feeling and your belief in the content that you want to talk about. And the actual content, the detail, you don't have to read out every line of the table. Okay, Joanne, your group today showed me a table, and what did I say? Joanne, have you got the table in front of you? Can you share it now, please?
Okay.
Can you share your screen? Remember, we're getting into the heart of what makes a good video presentation. Joanne, are you sharing?
Can I make it? Oh, yes. Can you see?
Okay, good. Can everyone see that?
Changes.
Can everyone see that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. What I explained to Joanne's group today is, okay, beautiful table, but it's not like that you talk about everything in that table, and you use some pointers. For example, maybe the first row we've got high, okay, and say highlight that, and then you may highlight that, and you may, wait a minute, did you just delete that, Joanne?
No,
just leave it there, stay there, just stay there for a moment.
Okay.
Right? And then you may use that table as a filter, and then you talk about the 3 significant rows on that table that matter to the challenges faced by these e-waste collectors. Okay, so what I was explaining to the group today is use that table to filter. That table is sort of all of the data, but in that 10 pages, you don't have space to talk about everything in the table. Use that table to highlight 2 or 3 or 4 areas that you want the reader to focus on. And then in the following pages, you talk about those 2 or 3 areas only. You don't talk about everything, you see? And that's the same thing. When you get to the video presentation, you may show that table, but you don't spend your presentation to talk about every little word on that table. And it'll become the most boring presentation ever. Okay. I don't need you to read me everything on the table. I can see that table. You don't need to read it to me. You're not a news presenter. All right. What I want you to show me is which parts show me, and you know, you highlighted the first, let me talk about that first row. This is why it's an important challenge, and you really show it with your emotion, but then you explain that table and you just focus on that row. Then you might go to the second last row. Here's one more thing. That's not all. One more thing. When you talk about consumers of e-waste, by the way, the consumer awareness, it's a huge challenge. And let me explain why. And you get the reader focusing on certain parts, because the reader can never take away everything in that table. Your job is to help the reader understand the important points they need to take away. So that's how you transition from the table in your report to your video presentation. Okay. Questions? Thanks, Joanne, for letting us use your table. Let me just stop there for a moment, because you know, my time is up, and this is what I want to show you in ending here about the, you know, how to improve your presentation. Now, I understand many of you, you're under a lot of pressure, a lot of assessment. If you just get time to do one recording and you're able to combine it with the others, you'll be happy. I understand that everyone's at a different stage. I'm just showing you what is possible. And a better presentation is not a presentation that tells me more. Okay. It's a presentation that reminds me of the key issues and in an impactful way. All right. So here's the takeaway. Number one, if you were to meet me for the first time and explain what's the big idea about your project and the impact I need to have, maybe you're meeting Ravi for the first time. Ravi sees you in the passageway. Oh, so what was your project on in Neil's unit? Well, actually, he didn't teach us much at all. We're a bit hopeless, really. But no, don't tell Ravi that. What's important, you know, if you had 30 seconds to explain to Dr. Ravi what your report was on, what would you tell him? Like, it's not like that he's an expert on supply chain management. So then you got to talk about it in layman's terms. So you've got to have a 30-second layman's idea of a message that you want to deliver with your 15-minute video. Okay. And when you first make your video from your PowerPoint, okay, step one, that 30-second layman's explanation. What is your project about? What is the big takeaway? Okay. Number two, you transition the tables from the report, you put the tables into the PowerPoint slide. But do not talk about every single row in the table. Are we clear here?
Yes.
Are we clear? Okay. You could have all the table there, but you highlight particular parts. If you want to make your PowerPoint animated, so then it flashes when you're talking about row 1 and then row 3, you can do that. That's fine. All right. And then, so the table becomes a filtering device to support the messaging that you want to deliver through your presentation. Okay. So 1, 2. All right. Table is a filtering device. You don't need to say any more. Just focus, focus, focus. You say less. Okay. Maybe at the end of your presentation, you repeat in layman's terms, what is the big takeaway? I would stress the positives, the negatives, and what's the other one, Elaine? Surprises. Thank you. Okay. All right. Those 1, 2, 3 things are very important. So, you know, you want to talk about that at the end. Right at the start, it's that layman's explanation. It's the question that you're asking. You know, what did you do? What did you find? And then you got positive, negative, surprises. Okay. And I think the most important thing you can do as a group is to do the video once, go through the video once, and then you do it again, and maybe 2, 3, 4 times. Okay. You will find that when you do it a second or third time, you don't have to read every word like you did in the first time. Okay. Elaine, you're smiling. Okay. All right. So, you know, these things you might already know, but I just wanted to, hopefully there's something that there's a takeaway for you just to help you just tweak your presentation and make it just that little bit more world-class. Okay, so let me just stop there. Any questions?
So, sir, for the presentation, it's more to the side where you have to express like closer to your way of presenting, because from the video, like presenting for YouTube video and presenting for news. So you are expecting our presentation to be closer to your kind of presentation, right?
That may, for some of you, that may take more time than what's worth it. Edgar, just it's something that you can aspire to, but just number one, do your best. Do your best as a group. Okay, some of you might aspire to try and be like me, but even feel that I need to do better too. Okay, so I think which one did I show you right at the start? Okay, let me just
begin our presentation. We would like to introduce ourselves. I'm Chong.
I'm Galby.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Debbie.
And today, we'd like to present our startup idea for the e-wallet company, Opulence. So when we began developing our e-wallet idea, we had to first analyze the current market. And upon analysis...
Okay, I think that I like the starting point of that video. That means every one of you introduced yourselves at the start. I think that would be nice. That, you know, some of the other groups, they didn't do that. And then from there, just, yeah, try your best to be animated, but animated in a way that just shows your feeling for that subject. Okay. And maybe you have to put yourself in the shoes of a CEO of a multinational to feel the stress created by COVID or the trade war or government policy. Okay. How would you feel if you're a CEO? Okay. So it's not about you have to be like me. I think it's better to think in terms of if you're a player in the space that your project is talking about, try to think in terms of how the people in that context feel. Okay. How do you feel if you're processing e-waste? Like, wow, it's a mountain of a problem. It's never going to end. And I just wish that governments were a little bit more proactive and had some more, they've got the regulations, but the enforcement is not there. And it's frustrating. And there's the opportunity for better collection and better processing could make it so much easier if we can just fix this challenge, you know. And then Edgar, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's yeah, just it's like just do your best. It's okay. It's all right. Elaine, what do you think?
I guess everyone has different styles. So as long as you're comfortable and you know what you're presenting and totally understand what I'm trying to say, I think that's fine, regardless how I'm doing it right. That's my takeaway.
Look, some of you have time to do a better job. Some of you don't. I'm just showing you that the sky's the limit when it comes to getting excited about a project.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, do your best. All of you, I'm sure you do well. Like, it's not like the videos that I showed you, I'm not saying that what they did was perfect, but they did a reasonable job, but then they got 13.5 out of 15. Like, you know, we reward them, even though not everything is perfect. Okay.
You're always kind.
Oh, thank you. We try. Yeah. Any other comments from anyone? Questions? Gonna miss you all.
Gonna miss you too. It was honestly a good class. I mean, like very interactive. So
Thank you, Dan.
Are you teaching any subject next sem?
I'll be teaching, I think I'm teaching undergraduate management accounting. And so, which is more, it's actually, well, I'll use examples from supply chain management, but it's more operational management. So like the stuff that David was talking about last week. Just operations, yeah. Yeah, I wish if there was another course like business operations management for the MIB program, I think that would make it very interesting. Never know. You can always give feedback to Ravi and them on how they can improve. Yeah. Okay. Alifia, what do you think?
I think it's great, sir. This
Mhm.
unit, I mean, the overall.
I know most of you got a lot of assessment. Let me just put my headphones on. Well, most of you will be around next semester, first semester next year. Okay, so then I hope that I can catch up with you then, especially if when the university opens, we can definitely catch up, especially if MIB has some gathering or something that's allowed at that time. So that would be nice. Okay, and I've talked too much tonight. If we'll finish now, but what I would like you to do, remind you, is Monash has a teaching evaluation. You know that, right? Okay, so what's important is, like in the small class numbers, especially like ours, 35, like most of my colleagues are teaching 200, 300 undergraduates. They're doing an amazing job, and I cannot fault them. I cannot expect them to be animated like me with 300 students. It's not always easy, you know, in every class. It's different. But what we do ask, especially if there's only 35 in this group or less, that we need to at least get more than 50% participating in the SETU score survey. Okay, so can I get a commitment from you to fill out that survey, give feedback to Monash? I don't see the results until I think December, so it doesn't affect your scoring on the presentation or the group report or anything like that. But appreciate your honest comments and your feedback. And if there's anything, I think, you know, there's things I could improve. I'm thinking maybe give you more feedback on the grades sooner than normal, I think, or on your presentation participation. I think there was 1 or 2 errors I made in counting some of the participation that I fixed after getting feedback from you. So it's not, I'm not saying that I'm perfect in what I've done this semester, but always responsive and try to do better and make it better, especially for next year too. What else? I think next year, if we run this again, we'll still have video presentation at the end. I think I might have a peer review on the group project, which means that students can make comment on the contributions of various group members. I think Ravi was talking to me about that, but it's not the case in this this semester. Yeah, so there's always little things that you can tweak and make better. So if you've got comments on that feedback, please don't hesitate to put that in so we can make improvements. Okay. And appreciate your comments always. Being here every week, because I know it's not the same in different units. So in Ravi's unit, you're going to be assessed big time in terms of final exam, right? And so it's not like you have to turn up every week, but you've got to focus and do very well in the final exam. Whereas for me, I was counting you every week and you had a different type of pressure with me. So it's a different type of stress that you're under. So appreciate the fact that you've done your best. And I think all of you are going to do very, very well. Just, if your video, when you create your video, just keep it, if it's 14 minutes, if it's 13 and a half minutes, it's okay. Don't feel you have to do all the 15 minutes. Okay. And you don't want to go over 15 because that's not required. Okay. Just keep it less. And your report, 10 pages. You have the references after 10 pages, so don't feel that the references take it up. If you feel you want to write more than 10 pages, do what I suggested to one group. Make the words smaller or make the space between the rows smaller. So instead of 1.5 spacing, maybe you do 1 1/4 spacing. It's okay. All right. If you feel that you want to say more, that's okay. But what's important is that you have clarity on what you want to say. Okay. Any comments or questions? Edgar, since you won the big hoot tonight, any comments or questions?
Just probably just closing, I just find that this class is very well suited for, you have designed it very well suited for Zoom in this situation because it's very engaging every week.
Thank you.
It's very well made for Zoom.
Oh, that's good. Yes, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be Zoom first semester next year again. So we do our best. Yep. Okay. Anyway, you know where to find me. If you want to see me as a group for checking your tables or anything like that in the afternoon this week, just contact me for an appointment and we will meet up. Okay. Okay. So deadline's next. When's the deadline? Monday midday, is it?
Monday midday.
Midday. Okay, next Monday. Okay, that's fine. And that's for the final report and the presentation. I might just ask you, you can email me the PDF copy of your PowerPoint slides used for your presentation. I'm not marking that, but it just may help me to, when I'm watching your presentation, to have that copy to follow. Okay. Let me repeat, just email me a PDF copy of the slides you use in your presentation. So it's not part of the official, put it into the assignment box. Just email that to me. That'll be great. Okay, so I really appreciate, I might, excuse me, send you a few reminders on the SETU, because it's, I think the president of the university wants 60% response rate. So we've got to try and hit the response rates. That means we need 20, I think 24, 25 responses from our class. So if you can get into that and give feedback, that would be appreciated. Can I count on you for that? Thank you. Okay. All right. Guys and girls, I'll let you go. I want to be finished early tonight, 9:45. Of course, you should finish by now anyway. Okay. And, you know, I know history's been making in terms of the, you know, election that's happening in another country of the world. So it's going to be big news tomorrow. Either way, whatever happens, I think it's going to affect a lot, this region. So it's going to be interesting that, you know, 2 years ago we had the trade war. This year we had COVID, and then after tomorrow there might be even something else. So all I can ask, or, you know, right, I'll finish what I said right at the first 5 minutes. My honest dream is to touch every one of your careers in some way, that maybe what I said in week 6 gave you an idea to knock on some doors, and that led to something else. Maybe what I said tonight leads you to take action, like Dan is going to send an email to David. All right. And, you know, just little things like that, that leads to something. And then in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, you come back and say, Neil, you know, that there's one thing you did in that class, and it led to this and led to that. That will be the biggest joy I would have, to know that something like that happens. Okay. So I'm always here for your career advice, or I don't know if you want to listen to me anymore after the 12 weeks, but if you want to run ideas by me, or if you want me to connect you with people in industry, okay, there's already one person in this group that I've connected with David's team that might be in employment next year. So, you know, these things happen by, you know, going through people, connections, networks, and things like that. And under this COVID atmosphere, environment where companies are actually delaying job opportunities, you need all the help you can get. You need all the networking help, the connection help, and positivity that you can get. And I'm here to help you in any way I can. Okay, so with that, just want to say thank you. And send me emails if you've got any comments or feedback that you want to send, happy to. But please do put that feedback into the SETU. It's important that Monash know about your experience in this course. And if you want more of it, then it's very, very important that Monash know about that. Okay, so I just want to wish you a lovely night. It's been a joy teaching you, and I just looking forward to meeting you, you know, in a socially distant fashion next year, hopefully on campus. Good night from me. And I just want to wish you good luck in the exams and in the other projects that you're doing for the other units. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much,
Professor.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
good.
Thank you.
Good night.
Welcome. Okay, good night, everyone.
Night.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Nice, sir.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, sir.
How was tonight?
It was very good, sir. They are so active. Yeah.
Yeah, we stirred them up tonight, and I think we made it valuable for them, right? Like, they just didn't have to turn up and do their time and feel, oh, we've got to be here to get our participation, but we're not going to learn anything. I think they did take away stuff tonight.
Yes.
think
And you were so energetic, sir.
Oh, good. Yeah, finish on a very energetic note. I think that's very important. So, and Ginny, you had some good luck with David.
Sorry, sir.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me just stop the recording for a moment.